What's going on, bottom line viewers? Man, has it been a while since I have said that. What is going on, everybody? It is Mitch here live to discuss the NFL 2022 upcoming season. Will your NFL team have any sort of shot this season at winning the Lombardi Trophy, at winning the Super Bowl? In this video, I'm going to go through every single team in the NFL here live, my live, unfiltered thoughts about your favorite team. We're going through all 32. The best and the worst teams, it doesn't matter. Every division. We're going to go through every team and discuss their chances at a Super Bowl this year and what they have to do to get there and how far away they are. All of that and more. And you guys, I wanted to go live because I wanted to interact with you, the audience. So make sure that you do Gronk spike the like button and get active in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're feeling. And how I want to do it, if we can pull this off, is I'm going to go one by one each team, right? But you guys can tell me which team is next, okay? Which team is next? That is how this is going to work. So whatever I get in the chat, I'm going to pounce, okay? We're going to go. All right? So let's have some fun. If you haven't already, make sure to check out all the other social media platforms. Whether that's Twitter, you could follow me there at Mitch Milani. Instagram at TheBottomLineView. You can also follow the TikTok, which has had a recent 2-week surge where I've been posting every single day for the last 2 weeks, which has been a lot of fun. So that's going to continue throughout the season and hopefully for a long time. We're going to continue to post some content on TikTok. So if you haven't already followed, the link is in the description at TheBottomLineView on TikTok as well. So make sure to check out all that stuff. And we do want to give a shout out to the community on Discord. The Discord community is the diehard BLVers. You know, the top, like, day one guys. So if you want to join that community, guys, the link is in the pinned comment at the top of this live chat, as well as in the description. So make sure to check out all those different platforms that apply to you, that you want to check out. But definitely the Discord is the place to be if you want to have some great NFL discussions, which happen all the time in our Discord. So check that out for sure. Okay, so Gronk spike the like button, and let's go. I don't got any graphics or anything. This is just going to be me, okay? This is just going to be me. What's going on, everybody in the chat? We've got Connor McLeod, the great one, in the chat. Aqua is in the chat. We got Lane Williams in the chat. Jackson is in the chat. Dante's in the chat. Jamari is in the chat. He says, join the Discord. Zelda fan says, who dat? First name, last name is in the chat. Jeremy says, I need some entertainment tonight. What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for joining, man. Lance is in the chat. He says, will Lamar develop a more accurate arm? I think this, Lance, is an absolute myth. Lamar can throw the football. Lamar is accurate. Is he Tom Brady? No. But is he accurate? Yes. I would say, where does Lamar rank in terms of accuracy? Not in the bottom half. I think he's somewhere in the top half. Maybe not the absolute elite, but it's hard to be the best runner in the league, have a strong arm, a quick release, and be the most accurate. So let's not go crazy there. Jackson says that Watson suspended for the whole season. Is this a report? I don't know. Cody says, do you got an overall defensive ranking? Cody, thanks for mentioning that. That is coming soon. That is coming soon. I'm working right now hard on the Kyle Shanahan video where I'm explaining why he's my #1 coach. Once I get that finished, and maybe even before that, I'm going to formulate my rankings for the offense and the defense. The Shanahan video should be out soon. The teaser, by the way, is on Instagram and TikTok, so if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. But I'm going to be doing the offense rankings, the defense rankings, and then roster rankings as well. So more rankings to come, guys. And if you have any ideas in terms of the rankings, be sure to put them in the comments. I will take a look. The Flicker also says, yo, Mitch, what's going on, Flicker? Yeah, the Shanahan video I'm excited for. This is actually the second Shanahan video I've ever made. Obviously, my favorite coach. To me, the best coach. And I'm going to explain that in the video. Ultra says, what's up? What's up, Ultra? Cody says he just found me and he loves the content. Thank you so much, Cody. So let's start here. let's just begin. Give me the first team. You guys, give me the first team. Somebody give me the first team. The first comment that goes in this chat, I'm going to go with that team. Okay? What's up, Bethel? Nice to see you. Thank you guys so much for joining live. It's been a long time, and I needed to go live, and hopefully we'll go live for the rest of, especially August, for sure. Ultra says, okay, but Ultra wasn't first. Jackson says Bengals, so we're going to go with Bengals. The first comment I see, the Bengals. Okay, let's begin with the Bengals. Can they win the Super Bowl? Yes, they can win the Super Bowl in 2022. Why can they win the Super Bowl in 2022? Well, they have a guy named Joseph Burrow. Okay, that man, Joseph Burrow, has so much confidence, so much aura, so much swagger. He carries his team along with him. When you have a leader like that, when you have a quarterback like that, every single time he walks into the room, every single time they walk onto the field, they believe they can win. Not only do you have Joseph Burrow with his incredible sunglasses, but you also have Jamar Chase, who's an absolute baller, supreme, and Jamar Chase might be the best receiver in the NFL just like as soon as this year. So you got Jamar Chase. And you got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, one of the best receiving cores, if not the best receiving core in the game. Joe Mixon, about to have one of his best seasons of his career with an actual offensive line. The defense is underrated. The front seven is good. Especially the defensive line, I think, doesn't get enough respect. Am I worried about certain aspects? Am I worried about regression in certain areas? Yes. I think their deep ball and their explosive plays, I would wonder how that's going to work out if teams start to take that away. How do they shift? How do they move on offense? And how do they game plan for that? Zach Taylor, this is going to be a real prove-it year for Zach Taylor. This is going to be the year to me that determines if Zach Taylor is actually a good coach. Because you can take the league by surprise one year, but can you back it up another year, 2 years in a row? He has the talent to do it. Can he coach it? Right? And then the defense, the secondary, I think's pretty good. It's not fantastic, but it's pretty good. The safety duo is awesome. Jesse Bates, I'm worried about in the future, but he'll be a future Patriot. But for now, he is a Cincinnati Bengal. And I do think that the Bengals have a good roster. And I do, in some ways, think they're being underestimated because I think people expect to bounce back from the Ravens. But I do expect the Bengals to be in the race to go to the Super Bowl. Can they win the Super Bowl? Point blank period. Yes. Okay, let's get to the second team, guys. Who is the second team you want me to discuss to win the Super Bowl? Can they win the Super Bowl? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm straight up honest. Let me know which the next team is. This is interactive. Okay, interactive. I got the Bengals down. Everybody remember, too. Aqua, take a list. We got Bengals done. We've got Flamin' Taco, who says Colts. First, thank you, Flamin' Taco. Never seen you before. Thank you for joining the chat. Flamin' Taco with the Colts. This one's a tough one. I could see this one going either way, and I could see opinions on either side. But personally, do I think the Colts can win the Super Bowl? Yes. The reason why I think the Colts can win the Super Bowl is a couple reasons. Okay, so beginning with Frank Reich. I've said it and I'll say it again. Frank Reich's the most underrated coach in the NFL, and I think that Frank Reich in any given game can go toe-to-toe with the best coaches in the NFL and outcoach any coach in any game, okay? So that's first and foremost. Because Frank Reich is that good, he brings balance to his teams. He brings balance to his offense. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball very well through his offensive scheme. They've got an offensive line that I think is going to improve this year for a couple of reasons. First, I think Matt Pryor's the real deal at left tackle. And I think that Matt Ryan, his speed, his processing, his intelligence will help them in pass protection. Jonathan Taylor is an awesome running back. Probably the most, gifted in terms of power and speed combination since Adrian Peterson, in my opinion. They've got a great number one who could really turn into a breakout star in Michael Pittman, who I'm going to be drafting in fantasy this year. And there's other guys like Paris Campbell, Mo Alley Cox, Nyheim Hines that I think are a little bit under the radar that could maybe break out this season. That doesn't even include Alec Pierce as the rookie receiver. So offensively, I think they can do some things. I also think Matt Ryan, with the way that he can accurately throw the football in the short and intermediate levels, is going to make them a much more consistent passing game, and they're not going to be scared to utilize their passing game and their quarterback, which they were last year. They were last year with Carson Wentz, especially down the road. And then defensively, they are a strong defense. If you told me at the end of the year that the Colts were the best defense in the NFL, I wouldn't be that surprised. Like, that's how talented they are in all areas of their defense. Now, they did lose a coordinator, but it's a very similar scheme that they're getting with Gus Bradley. They've got a strong defensive line, added Yannick Ngakoue to DeForest Buckner and that group. And then secondary, you get an actual legit number one corner in Stephon Gilmore. Julian Blackmon's coming back at safety. You've got a great linebacking duo and trio. So I feel like the Colts are a very complete team. Would they be at the top of the list that I feel like they could win the Super Bowl? No, but I think they match up well with a lot of teams in the AFC. And because of that reason, plus the Matt Ryan edge and chip on his shoulder, I feel like the Colts, if they won the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be that surprised. So that's why I say they can win the Super Bowl. The third team. Who's the third team? We've got the Bengals. We've got the Colts. Who's the third team, guys? Let me know in the comments what's going on, everybody in the chat. Timothy, Bethel, Ultra, Young Citrus. What's going on, man? I remember you, 8-year-old. What's up, bro? What's up, Mez? How you doing, man? Okay, who's next? I see Young Citrus say the Bills. I believe that was the first comment. Bills. Okay, so we're going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Yes, the Buffalo Bills can win the Super Bowl this season, and many will probably pick the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl this season. Why? They have arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, the biggest one-man show in the game, Josh Allen. When it comes to a quarterback that in a playoff run can take over each and every game and win them a Super Bowl, win his team a Super Bowl, there's probably nobody higher on the list than Josh Allen from what we saw last season in the playoffs. When Josh Allen is on, nobody is better than him. Then you get to the rest of the offense, where Stephon Diggs is obviously awesome, but could this be the season that Gabe Davis breaks out? And if that is the case, that is where this team can really take the next step. That is an underrated kind of area of their team, because Gabe Davis has been fine. He's been whatever. This team hasn't really had a number two receiver. Cole Beasley, whatever. But Gabe Davis, if he can break out and be what people expect him to be, that's going to change how teams have to defend this offense. You add in Jamison Crowder and Isaiah McKenzie and Dawson Knox, who could also break out, plus James Cook and Devin Singletary out of the backfield. It's a dangerous attack offensively, even without Brian Daboll. The offensive line got a little bit tougher in Roger Saffold up front, and then defensively, we know they're strong, but the big difference for me is that they're going to get Tre'Davious White back, right? And they've got a number two corner that has a lot more upside than what they previously had with Levi Wallace, and a pass rusher in Von Miller who knows how to win. So Von Miller could be the difference. So, to me, the Bills are just a more, I wouldn't say complete team than they've been, but a team with more upside than what they've previously had in all areas of their team. When you talk about Gabe Davis breakout, when you talk about Von Miller in the playoffs, when you talk about a new number two corner who is a first round pick, all those things could connect, and Josh Allen could be amazing, and you could win the Super Bowl. So those are the first three teams. The next team, who's the next team? Sideline Report, what's up, man? You wish, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining. All is good. Yes, all is good. The people in the Discord motivated me to do this, so we're doing it live. Harleen, what's up? Harleen Quinzel, what's up? Flamin' Taco says Doritos. Okay, so that's the first one I saw, so we're gonna go with Doritos. And permanently now, I don't say Raiders anymore, it's Raiders. Okay, so with Doritos, we've got Derek Carr, who we know, everybody knows by now, that I'm Derek Carr guy. Okay, so Derek Carr is my guy this year. Derek Carr is my dude. Okay, so first and foremost, Derek Carr. Let me reenact. Derek Carr is a lot fucking better than everybody thinks. Okay, there you go. There's my reenaction. But yeah, Derek Carr is underrated, and Derek Carr can win games in this league. I think he proved that last year, that Derek Carr can overcome and can elevate. And whenever you have a quarterback that can overcome and elevate, you can win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to say the Raiders can win the Super Bowl. On top of that, they've got a coach who I love in Josh McDaniels, who's also getting a video essay this summer. You've got Josh Jacobs, a solid runner who you can rely on to run the ball in January. Then you've got a receiving core with Devontae Adams, who's unstoppable, right? Most double-teamed receiver in the NFL last year. Hunter Renfrow, who is arguably the best short intermediate route runner in the game, other than maybe Cooper Kupp. And then you've got Darren Waller, who is an absolute specimen. So that offense is going to be very hard to stop, and they can win a shootout with everybody, right? They can beat anybody in a shootout. Defensively, the reason I like them is because their pass rush can win games. Chandler Jones and Max Crosby can win games off the edge. And then on top of that, I think they've got a better defensive coordinator this year with a better scheme, and I think he's going to elevate them in coverage as well. So I like the Raiders a lot. I think they can win the Super Bowl because Derek Carr, the explosiveness of their offense in combination with the explosiveness and smarts of their coaching staff and defense, I think makes them a threat for the Super Bowl. Even they're a team that could miss the playoffs or win the Super Bowl. That's kind of where you see them. Harleen says, love you, Mitch. Thank you. Can't wait for this season with BLV Crew. Best sports channel ever. Thank you so much for the $10, by the way. Thank you so much for any super chats and any support. Thank you guys for the likes and the subscriptions lately, and as well as the follows on TikTok. Thank you guys so much. If you do want a super chat, that is much appreciated. Thank you so much. All right, the next team. Durkant really wants the Dolphins. Okay, so Ariana Grande wants the Dolphins, so we're going to go with the Dolphins next. And my answer for the Miami Dolphins is going to be the first no. I don't think the Dolphins can win the Super Bowl. Do I think they can be a good team? Yes. Do I think they can win the Super Bowl? No. And the reason I personally don't think they can win do I think they can win a playoff game? Yes. Do I think they can win the Super Bowl? No. And the reason I don't think they can win the Super Bowl is because they've got two problems at the most important positions. Quarterback and coach. Quarterback and coach. That's what's lacking for the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what my boy Mike McDaniel is going to be like. I don't know how good of a coach he's going to be, especially in his first year. There's so much to learn as a first-year coach. First-year coaches don't win the Super Bowl. It's really hard unless you're taking over a Super Bowl team. Like, it doesn't happen. And then secondly, Tua is just not good enough for me to say that he can win the Super Bowl. It's not like their defense is strong. I like their defense. I think their defense can be one of the best in football, right? I think they've got an underrated defensive line. Javon Holland is a great Canadian boy. They've got a great secondary. I mean, will they be able to replicate what Brian Flores had with them before? I think mostly, yeah. And then offensively, they are a better team. They're an explosive team. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, all that is fun and stuff. But I just feel like the offensive line isn't quite there yet, isn't quite ready to be consistent enough. The run game, I think, will be improved because of the scheme, but you don't have like an amazing run game to me. And then Tua is just going to have too much pressure on him in the big moments. I don't think he's going to get it done. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't. Okay, so there we go. Next. Also, do we know that Mike McDaniel is going to be like, everyone thinks Mike McDaniel is going to be like Kyle Shanahan. Like, can we relax a little bit? Okay? I'm making a video about Kyle Shanahan. I'm not making no video about Mike McDaniel. Okay? All right, next team. We've got Jackson who says Browns. Okay, we're going with the Browns next. And for me, this is tough because Deshaun Watson, we don't really know. There can't keep saying clipped. Okay. All right, Ariana, go back. I'm going to say the Browns cannot win the Super Bowl this year. And the reason is I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to play that much or play at all. So that being said, you are not winning a Super Bowl with Jacoby Brissett playing half of a season. And that's the stance I'm going to take, okay? And on top of that, I think it's going to be hard to win in an AFC, even if Deshaun Watson plays enough games to get them to the playoffs. I don't see how Deshaun Watson is going to be able to get to the level that he was at, get the rust off, and then be able to go on a crazy run to take the Browns to the Super Bowl. Like, here's the problem with the Browns. Their receiving game, they're like receivers aren't very amazing or special or anything like that. You got Amari Cooper, who's charm and soft. You've got David Njoku, who everybody's been waiting to break out for 15 years. And I don't really know what else you got. Kareem Hunt's a running back, like Donovan Peoples-Jones. In January, are you going to be able to win a Super Bowl with Donovan Peoples-Jones as your number 2 receiver? I don't think so. I don't think so. When you have to face Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow and Mac Jones in January, will you be able to do it? I don't know. They can run the ball well. I love that. Okay, their defense has always been overrated under this current scheme. I think they need to change it. I like Myles Garrett. I think, Chase Winovich was a nice add. I think JOK is going to have a great season. I think their secondary is solid, but they got to change it. They got to change their scheme up for me to be impressed. Overall, I think they're just not there yet. Maybe next year. I think as soon as next year they could contend, but yeah. All right, next team. Who's next? Give me the next team. We got the Browns. Next team. David says Broncos. Okay, guys, I just saw Russell Wilson with Sierra on the ESPYs. Looking great looking couple, and I do think that if I could see that couple with the Lombardi Trophy in February. So I'm going to say the Broncos can win the Super Bowl this year. Why can the Broncos win the Super Bowl this year? Because Russell Wilson is a baller. And Russell Wilson is clutch, and Russell Wilson has a chip on his shoulder, and the whole deal with, Brady, Stafford, there's a trend going on. A new quarterback that gets relocated can win the Super Bowl. I don't know what it is. But it seems to be a trend. All right. And then we talk about the actual team. The offensive line is underrated. I think they've got a strong offensive line. I think they improved the depth there, which I like. Depth matters to me because when you lose this piece or that piece, who's stepping in for you on a long journey to win the Super Bowl? Then you've got the running backs. Melvin Gordon is still good, but Javonte Williams can be really special. So that run game can complement Russell very well this year. And I think, the quarterback is going to open up the run game as well. The receivers are a little bit questionable, but they have a lot of upside. Even a guy like KJ Hamler has a lot of upside to be a deep threat. Tim Patrick can make plays. Jerry Jeudy, we know how good of a route runner in the short and intermediate levels he can be. And then also Cortland Sutton he can be a Pro Bowl caliber guy if he is 100%. So they've got all those options on top of the Albert O that fantasy guys love to talk about. Defensively, they've got upside. I'm not sure if they ever are going to live up to it. But Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory is potentially pretty scary. Their interior defensive line with DJ Jones is pretty tough as well. The only real weakness defensively that they offer is linebacker position, which they could still fix with a little bit of time this offseason, or they got some younger players trying to plug in there. Safety is strong. Justin Simmons arguably the best safety in the NFL. Corner position is really deep. Surtain's in his second year, so that you expect a jump from your number 1. So overall, there's a lot of things that you could see with a lot of potential with this roster and this team. I am questioning the coach and the coaching staff as a whole if they could do it in the first year. But because Russell Wilson is there, I do feel he kind of elevates the organization, elevates the team. That's why I could see the Broncos winning the Super Bowl. They could also miss the playoffs, but they could also win the Super Bowl. So that's the only question I'm trying to answer here. The next one is who? Who's the next team? We got the Broncos now. Taking a sip. Next team. If you haven't already, guys, make sure that you do spike the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, follow the TikTok because we're putting a lot of TikToks out there. All right, links in the description. Okay, who do we got? Saints. Zelda and then Turtle back to back with the Saints. So let's go with the Saints. Can the Saints win the Super Bowl? In my heart of hearts, the way that I see the Saints is a team that is going to be like sneaky, kind of like strong and tough to beat. But I just don't see the upside for them to win the Super Bowl. Like, I think they can win a game or two in the playoffs, right? Like, I think they could go on a little bit of a sneaky run where they upset a team or two, but I can't necessarily see the New Orleans Saints going 3-4 games, like, because they're probably going to enter as a wild card team, right? If they enter at all. If they enter the playoffs, they're going to have to beat the best teams in the NFC all the way through. I just don't see the consistency with Jameis. And I love Jameis. Like, the guy is a character. He's absolutely lovable 100%. But the Jameis I saw last year, I just can't say that is a guy that can win the Super Bowl. And you're talking about an offensive line that's not as good as it once was. You're talking about an Alvin Kamara who could be missing some games this year. You're talking about Michael Thomas, who hasn't played football since, the 1800s approximately. So you're relying on Chris Olave for a big step from a rookie. You're relying on an elder man in Jarvis Landry. You're relying on a former quarterback to play tight end, Taysom. And then you've got a defense that's very good, but you have no more Sean Payton, okay? I do think where the Saints, joking and kidding aside, can upset teams is because their defense can match up with just about anybody. Run first teams, pass first teams. Dennis Allen can put together a game plan to confuse quarterbacks. And they've shown that they can compete, with a lot of teams that are better than them, in the past couple of seasons. So I feel like there's a chance for them to enter the playoffs and be dangerous, but not necessarily string together a full playoff run, if that makes sense. So that's where I stand on the Saints. So ultimately, the answer is no. Okay, next team. Next team. Who's the next team? We got the Saints. Some of you guys are cheating, by the way. You just keep commenting teams like I'm going to see it. That's cheating. You got to wait till I'm kind of done. Okay, the first one I saw was Ultra, who said Bucks. Okay, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can they win the Super Bowl? Well, here's the problem with the Bucks, right? So to win the Super Bowl, you've got to have a quarterback that can win the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know if they've got a guy that's proven year after year, decade after decade, that he can really do it, Like, I feel like every year we're just looking at Tom Brady and saying, is this guy really the real deal? Every season, we just enter the year and it's like, he's just not that good. He's kind of overrated. He's always ranked a little low. Like, nobody puts respect on his name, Like, I don't think they got the quarterback to be able... I'm just kidding. Obviously, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can win the Super Bowl. Whenever you have Tom Brady, you can win the Super Bowl. If you guys didn't know, Tom Brady has won the Super Bowl in 50% of his season. So that's pretty much all I got to say. So that would mean... Wait. He didn't win last year, so what does that mean? I don't know. You guys can probably figure that out. But, or he's gone to the Super Bowl. My bad. He's gone to the Super Bowl in like 50% of his seasons. But the offense, I'm a little bit, if I'm being like 100% honest, the offense is kind of starting to worry me a little at the beginning of the year, just because like no Gronk, right? Godwin could be out for the first couple of months, maybe. He might be back right away, but he also might be out. So then, like, who's stepping up for Brady there at receiver? Obviously, Brady can overcome it, but in some of the games versus the best opponents, they might drop some of those games potentially because their offense might not be at 100%. Plus, the offensive line is new, so it might be figuring stuff out. So I think they're going to have to get a lot out of Mike Evans early. They're going to have to get a lot out of Cam Brate, Scotty Miller, some of these guys that Brady knows, right? That he has chemistry with, Fournette, obviously. But I think that it's kind of weird. Like, I think they're going to be a little bit like the team that they were a couple years ago, where they might have some bumps in the road early, but they are going to figure things out later in the year. And I think if they can do that and stay healthy, they can get on a run. But the number one thing for me with the Bucs is if they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, their defense needs to take a step forward. 2 years ago, they were a Super Bowl run defense where they were incredible. A lot like, some of these Giants teams of the past where they just found something. And then last year, they were very disappointing and they couldn't stay healthy. So if that defense can stay healthy and really grow together, they can potentially be dominant. And then that's a scary thought for the rest of the NFL. So I think the Bucs are obviously as good as anybody and have the potential. It's just as a fan of them, basically, because I basically am a fan of them, I do have kind of my fan worries about them early in the year, on top of me going to the first game of the year. Okay. Next. Who's next? Okay, we see, is it Duke or Duck? I think it's Duke. I don't know, bro. He says San Francisco. Can they win the Super Bowl if you already said Kyle is the best head coach entering this season? Cheap plug, new video is coming soon. Can San Francisco win the Super Bowl? First name, last name, ask for Lakers. Lakers, F no. That's not happening. Now, in terms of the 49ers, I go back and forth with this one because Kyle is the best coach. And I think their defense can be really good. And it's tough because it's really the Trey Lance dilemma, right? It depends what you think of Trey Lance, ultimately, because and my thought is like, can Trey Lance really be worse than Jimmy was last year in moments? Like, Jimmy was so detrimental to that team last year. He was absolutely horrendous last season. Like in certain moments, especially the big moments. I mean, this guy was bad, like bad, like straight up awful. So can Lance just like make some more plays? You know what I mean? Like, maybe he's less consistent, but maybe he can make a few more plays. I'm not a big Trey Lance guy, but I do believe in Shanahan to get the best out of him. But this is what I like about the Niners, okay? So Eli Mitchell's going into his second season. Brandon Ayuk could potentially finally have his breakout year because now it kind of, his head's on straight. Nobody's really talking about him. It's like the post-hype sleeper in fantasy. Like, that's kind of Brandon Ayuk this year. I think they've got some really underrated weapons like Jawan Jennings, who's a nice player. And offensive line-wise, maybe a little bit shakier, but I was listening to a lot of Kyle press conferences. It seems like they're pretty confident in the guys they got there. Defensively, they could be as good as anybody on defense. They're super strong and super deep on the defensive line. They've got a very good linebacking core. Jimmy Ward's a beast. Maybe you're worried a little bit about the opposite safety spot, but Charvarius Ward's going to elevate that secondary. So I feel like the Niners have as much talent and as good of coaching as anybody in the league. It just all comes down to how ready is Trey Lance. It's just tough for me to really see a rookie basically win the Super Bowl. But with that coach, I won't necessarily say it's impossible, just given what happened last year. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, guys, think about this for a second, has thrown 170 yards in playoff wins over the last 3 years. 170 yards. Like, that's like 1970s numbers, okay? So if Trey Lance can throw for 150 yards and run for 50, I think the team's got a chance to win the Super Bowl. I will say the Bucs are maybe like the worst matchup for them, but if they can try to avoid Tampa, I think they can sneak their way back. I like, if they were to face the Rams again in a playoff game, I think they'd have a good chance of winning. If they face the Packers again, like, Kyle's kind of proven that he has those guys' numbers, like LaFleur and McVay. So overall, I feel like going head to head with them, they got the opportunity, so they could get back there ultimately if they can avoid maybe a team like Tampa Bay. Okay, who's the next team? So I'm going to say yes to the Niners, but it's not like a strong yes, just because of the quarterback. Bird Gang. What's up, Bird Gang? Donna, I talked about Cincinnati already. I appreciate you joining the chat, though. If you want to maybe scroll back and check it out. First name, last name says Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods always has a chance to win. All right, Harleen wants to know, and I know it's not Harleen. I know it's not Harleen. The Patriots. Okay, so let's go with the Patriots. Can the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year? In my opinion, can the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year? As a fan, I want to say yes. But if I'm being honest, probably not. Probably not. But it's hard to, it's hard to completely rule out the Patriots because of Bill Belichick and because of the potential step that Mac Jones could take. But I think the right answer is no. Like, I just don't think they have enough talent yet. I think their time will be coming soon, and I think it could be as soon as next year that they could compete for the Super Bowl. I think that because of how their roster is set up and how the money may be situated entering next season, I feel like New England will be a very heavy contender next year. But this year, I just don't think the defense is good enough at corner. I'm not 100% sure about the pass rush. I need to see a lot of things come together, and there's just too many question marks about the team. Like, the receiving core, I think, will be better. I think the offense will be better. I think Mac will be better. Like, I think they'll be a fun team, but I don't necessarily think they'll be a great team. So I think ultimately my question is just, I don't think they have enough talent. Offensively, though, just to go over them, I think Stevenson could have a big breakout year. I think Kendrick Bourne could have a big breakout year. I think Devontae Parker will help them. I think Jonnu Smith will be better utilized this season. I think that Cole Strange right away will be a solid player, and Trent Brown returning to the left side of the offensive line will be nice. The offensive line will be good. I think Mac is going to have a big year. I think they're going to be an easy team to root for. That's for sure. I just don't think they have enough elite talent on the roster. Okay, let's talk about the next team that could win the Super Bowl. Who's the next team? Doctor Strange, baby. Edgar says, Doritos. I already talked about Doritos. Can Yoda win the championship? Yoda can always win the championship. Packers. The Pack. Okay, That is actually kind of deceptively tough. The Packers are a deceptively tough team to say if they can win the Super Bowl. But I'm going to say yes, okay? The reason I'm going to say yes to the Packers is two reasons. Aaron Rodgers and the defense, okay? So for the Packers to win the Super Bowl, they need Aaron Rodgers to be as good as he's been in the regular season the last 2 years, but in the playoffs. And then on top of that, they got to have a really, really good defense. Because here's the problem with the Packers. They have no receivers. Can Christian Watson, my guy, be the man? Maybe right away. It's hard to be right away, right? As a rookie, it's hard. But can he get into it, down the road, down the stretch, the last little end of the season? Maybe. But here's what I like about the Packers. I think Matt LaFleur is a good play caller. I think they can run the ball. I think if they play at home, they're tough because that weather is conducive to Aaron Rodgers and not a lot of other quarterbacks. I think they've got a very strong secondary. Their pass rush is pretty strong. Their defense as a whole is good. And it has a lot of talent. Like, this is one of the most talented defenses in the NFL. I do worry about special teams a little bit. I do worry about details when it comes to Matt LaFleur sometimes. But I think ultimately with a guy like Aaron Rodgers and with the amount of talent you have on defense and through your running game, I feel like you've got a shot. I just don't think it's maybe as strong as it has been the last couple of years. So the Packers, I'm going to say yes, but it's not like a super strong one either. Next. Do I even know who Alan Lazard is? Yes, I do. He is not very good. Sorry, not sorry. Next. Spider-Man. It depends which Spider-Man you're talking about. I did the Colts. The Bears. Nicholas says, the Bears. Nick, I'm going to keep this short, sweet, and painless. The Bears will not win the Super Bowl this year. When it comes to their team, though, let's talk about it. So, the receiving core, I think the receiving core it's okay. Just kidding, it's not okay. Darnell Mooney, I think could have another step forward to be a breakout guy, but I don't see enough around him to really elevate Justin Fields here. Like Byron Pringle, is that the answer? I don't know. St. Brown is certainly not the answer. The offensive line's bad, like straight up bad, and they've got a lot of players that need to prove themselves. The running back duo is nice, but that's not winning you a Super Bowl. Is Cole Kmet going to be a breakout guy for them? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how talented he is. I think he's got a shot, but I don't know how actually talented this guy is. Maybe Nick can help me out there. Defensively, they're not... I think they'll be structurally sound, right? But I don't know how much talent they have. They got a lot of young guys, young pieces, especially in the secondary. We'll see how that develops. I think the Bears are a long ways away. They need another year at least to be somewhat relevant where they can compete. Because I think this year is just really all about Justin Fields. It's really just all about figuring out whether or not Justin Fields can play. And hopefully they can put him in a good enough situation, play calling wise, offense wise, where they can make that happen. Because that's really what it's all about, to be honest with you. Okay. Chicago is done. Next. Do we got Aqua in here? Is Aqua taking this list? What do I think about the Cardinals making the Super Bowl for 2023? Do you like this year? Here's the thing. I don't think the Cardinals are good. I don't think the Cardinals are good at all. I honestly think this. I don't know if this is a hot take, and I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. I don't think the Cardinals are good. You look at this team. If this team makes the playoffs, it will be all because of Kyler Murray. Really. D-Hop suspended. I like Marquise Brown. What is Rondell Moore? I don't know. Zach Ertz, he's fine, but he's 1,000 years old, okay? The offensive line is kind of doo-doo. It's not good. I mean, they're old, too. It's got to be the oldest offensive line in the NFL. Connor is... he's just nothing special. I feel like this team is just really old. You know what I mean? They're just really old. J.J. Watt on the defense is like your biggest playmaker on the front seven, which is concerning because he only really plays like 6 games a year. The edge rush, Marcus Golden's a fine player, but he's not a number 1 pass rusher. He's more of a complementary piece. The linebackers, they can't seem to figure it out. I think Vance Joseph has done a really good job defensively, but other than that, the defense leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, Budda Baker's nice. I think Thompson is an underrated player, but the corners, they didn't really fix that at all. Like, this team just has so many holes. Like, this is probably the most, like, if you didn't actually look at their depth chart and look at their roster, like, you wouldn't know how, like, messy it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily overrated, but it's like really, really lacking, I feel like. So yeah, I don't mean to be so harsh about the Cardinals. I don't think they're good. Like, if Kyler can get them in the playoffs, that would be a big achievement. Like, I don't think they're doing anything from there on out. I think last year, they kind of went all in to be competitive last year, and they never really followed it up with anything this offseason. So, yeah, no would be my answer for the Cardinals. Who's next up, guys? Who's next up? If you haven't already, make sure you do. Gronk, spike the like button. We're continuing talking about every team in the NFL and whether or not they can win the Super Bowl. The Eagles. The Eagles. Eagles. Okay, so Turtle wants to go with the Eagles. Can they win the Super Bowl? I'm going to say the Eagles. The Eagles. That's tough. Because the Eagles might have like the best roster in the NFL outside of quarterback. But their quarterback is such an enigma to me. Like, I can't figure out the quarterback position for them. They've got a really strong offensive line, a really strong defensive line, 2 awesome receivers, a good tight end. Honestly, you know what? I'm going to say yes, but there's a very small percentage. I think this percentage is like, if Jalen Hurts can take like that Carson Wentz 2017 type of like miraculous MVP sort of like crazy season, then it's possible. But I feel like if Jalen Hurts is the same quarterback as he was last year, they've got no chance. Because if the guy can't make throws to the intermediate level, you're toast. Like, when you play good teams and good defensive coordinators, you're not going to win. I'm also a little bit still concerned about their defensive scheme, which is just entirely too soft. But they upgraded the secondary, especially at corner with Bradbury, to partner with Slay. The pass rush and the run defense is nuts. Like, it's nuclear. The linebacking core is better. The offensive line is phenomenal. Like, they've got all the pieces. It's just a matter of, can their defense, the scheme get better, and can the quarterback just make more plays and be more consistent as a passer? If that can happen, then yeah, sure. But I mean, it's probably a pretty low percentage to me. They're arguably the best roster there is, like one of the best. Who's next? Who's next? Big Al says he's skeptical about Jalen Hurts. First name, last name says Chargers and Vikings, and then Turtle says Vikings. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. The Vikings, can they win the Super Bowl? My answer is no. Can they be a good team? Yes. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl, and the reason is new coach. I think there's too many questions about new secondary, new pieces on the front, although veteran pieces, which is nice. I do think the Vikings can be good. Like, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, though. I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl. I do think they've got an explosive offense, but I'm still worried about, like, Kirk Cousins in that big moment when he's facing pressure with an offensive line that I'm just not 100% certain about. And the defense, I'm just not sure how good they are. I think they're kind of average. I don't think they're great. So I just don't think this team is like elite in many facets. I think they could potentially be an elite passing game, but I don't really see much outside of that, to be honest with you. Like, I think that the talent is just kind of like above average, but not special. Like, they're a playoff team. They're going to be good. I think they'll be improved from last year. But as a Super Bowl team, I just don't see it this year. Maybe next year. Not this year. Who's next? All right. See you in a bit. Yash says 3,800 passing yards, 700 rushing yards, and Hurts could be it for them. We'll see. We'll see, sir. The Lions? The Lions. No. The Lions can't win the Super Bowl. The reason the Lions can't win the Super Bowl is because of Jared Goff. Jared Goff's not winning no Super Bowl. I'm sorry. He's not winning the Super Bowl. I don't care what people tell me. He got to the Super Bowl and he pooped himself in front of the worldwide audience. He had the game right there for the taking and he pooped himself. The goofy one cannot win the Super Bowl. Now, the offensive line is nice. The weapons look like they're promising. But again, guys, this is all, you got to think about it. It's all promising. It's nice. It's nice to see. It's not Super Bowl contention, okay? It's promising. The receiving corps, DJ Chark, will he get hurt? Will he play? How good is he when he plays? Jamison Williams, when will he be back? Is he going to be good? He's never played in the NFL. I think he's good, but is he? I don't know. DeAndre Swift, super high upside as a fantasy asset. Is he actually good in real life at running the ball? I don't know. The defense, still kind of not very good. So, and Campbell as a coach, he's exciting. He's a lot of fun. Is he actually a good coach? I don't know. So the Lions are fun. You know, they're going to be better. They are a better team this year, but can they win the Super Bowl? Absolutely, positively not. Who's next? What's up, Monty? How you doing, man? Nice to see you. It's been a while. Monty's been nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen, has Monty. Tribe says Rams 1,000,000 times better than anybody else in the NFC, and I would disagree with that notion. Absolutely not. They are not 1,000,000 times better than any team. Who was first here? B March says Seahawks. I'm sorry, B March. The Seahawks have absolutely positively zero chance of winning the Super Bowl this year. Their quarterback, his name is Drew Lock. So for that, they have got no chance. On top of that, their offensive line is very iffy. I love their running backs. I like their receivers. I think the tight end's nice, Noah Fant. Pete Carroll, he's stuck in 1974. The defense is still not very good. The pass rush and the secondary still need some work to do. What could I say positively about the Seahawks, though? I'm excited about Penny and Walker as a backfield. I'm excited about Jordan Brooks. I'm excited about the safeties. I'm excited about the interior defensive line that I think is underrated. There's some things to like about them, but they're not a good team. Who's next, guys? Who's next? Nicholas says Steelers. Can the Steelers win the Super Bowl? Mitch Trubisky. No, the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl. The reason the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl is because their offensive line is still downright horrendous. Their quarterback is extremely iffy. It's rather a rookie or a guy that didn't even play last year. The receiving core at this point is becoming a bit overhyped and overrated. I mean, people are like talking about Pickens and Calvin Austin like they're Calvin Johnson. I mean, come on. The defense is good. There's no doubt. Is it dominant enough to take them to a Super Bowl? No. So, yeah, just too many questions at quarterback, offensive line. Just, no, not good enough there. Not good enough. Yash the man. The Jets. Can the Jets win the Super Bowl? The Jets cannot win the Super Bowl. I do think there is a scenario where, if Zach really gets on a roll, he's going from mom to mom to mom, that where they can tie everything together and the Jets could be like this year's Bengals. If that happened, I wouldn't be like that surprised. Like, I could envision that because I think Zach Wilson has that type of talent. We just saw very little of that last year. So personally, I'm going to say no, and it's just because the team is too young, it's too inexperienced. They don't have enough proven entities on their team. When you look at it, wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, not proven, right? Elijah Moore is barely proven at this point. Offensive line, they've got a lot of new pieces to work with. It's promising. It could be pretty good. Honestly, they've got a talented working of a team. Breece Hall is also unproven defensively, unproven at corner, unproven at the pass rush level. Like, there's just a lot of unproven. Robert Saleh is unproven. I don't think Mike LaFleur is any good. So, like, there's a lot of areas where I rather don't like them, or I have no idea what they are. Zach Wilson being the biggest one. So, yeah, just too young, too unproven, not enough there. But they could take a big step, and they could be surprising because when there's unproven and there's talent, ultimately there could be a sleeper there. But a sleeper doesn't usually translate to a team that win the Super Bowl. Like, even when the Bengals, like, all year, they were a team with talent, a young team, an inexperienced team, a team that was a sleeper. They got all the way to the Super Bowl, and I still didn't believe they could win it. That's just kind of weird. But, like, yeah. Can the Jaguars win the Super Bowl? Make the Super Bowl, he says. Make the Super Bowl? No. Win the Super Bowl? No. I think Jacksonville is being overhyped right now by a lot of, like, analytical people. I think for one reason, they think Trevor Lawrence was good last year, which I don't see it at all. I think Trevor Lawrence is about to be one of the most overrated players in the NFL for a long time. Does he have talent? Yes, but I mean, the guy he has problems with his mechanics to me. He misses a lot of throws. He's late on a lot of throws. He's not as physically gifted as people want to say. Like, I just don't really see it with him right now. I need to see a big step forward. The Doug Peterson, I really respect, but this team doesn't have enough talent. The offensive line is not good enough. The tackles are terrible. The running game could be better, I guess. The receiving core is not any good. I mean, they spent a lot of money on it, and it's not very good. I mean, your best weapon is Christian Kirk, okay? Christian Kirk. Think about that for a second. A player that I would target in fantasy, but not a player that I think's a number one receiver. The defense, I think, might be a little bit underrated, like, talent-wise, but still a lot of young, unproven pieces. They can't make the Super Bowl or win it either. Can the Chiefs make the Super Bowl? The Chiefs can make it and win it. They've got Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how obvious that is, actually, but to me it's obvious. Because why? Well, they've got Patrick Mahomes and they've got Andy Reid. When you've got those two pieces, you've got a shot every single season, in my opinion. The offensive line is also another reason why they can win it, because it's very strong. I think if the Chiefs do win the Super Bowl, by the way, it's because their offensive line powers them to a Super Bowl. I think with the way that they can protect Patrick Mahomes and run the ball potentially this year, it's going to open some things up. They're going to need more than they've had in the past from some under the radar, like, unproven players. You know what I mean? Like, Sky Moore is going to have to, like, be a good rookie. Valdez-Scantling's going to have to make more plays than he has previously in his career. Juju's going to have to get back to himself. Like, some things are going to have to align and pieces are going to have to come together. But, like, would it be impossible for it to happen? Absolutely not. Like, it could definitely happen. Defensively, I do think they're going to struggle a bit. They've got some young players in key spots. The secondary is also a little bit different and iffy, not as proven as it has been. But they usually struggle on defense for a while until they figure it out. So I think they're going to be probably a playoff team, but just a team that I don't really see being able to truly contend. But again, they're the Chiefs with Mahomes and Reed. Can they win the Super Bowl? Yes. Yes, they can. Who's next? Titans. Aqua says Titans. I think the Titans are probably the biggest candidate to regress this season in the NFL. And my answer, can they win the Super Bowl, is no, even though I really respect Mike Vrabel. And I think this defense is really, really good and probably underrated by a lot of people. I look at that defense and I see a lot of upside with the secondary, especially the secondary. But they've got Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry and Danico Autry and even Bud Dupree and David Long. I mean, the front seven can play, but the secondary with all the young pieces from Christian Fulton, can Caleb Farley play this year? Maybe. Amani Hooker, Kevin Byard, the defense can be really strong. But the offense, I just think, is a complete shit show. I think the offense sucks. The offensive line is not good. Taylor Lewan is regressing. I don't think they can ever really pass protect Ryan Tannehill. And Tannehill as a quarterback's not very good within the pocket, so he can't really, move away from pressure. He's just bad in the pocket as a whole. He can run away, but he can't, step up and avoid it. The receivers are big-time question marks. I don't think Treylon Burks is going to be good right away. Robert Woods, I don't think is the same player. And I don't really think he's a number one receiver. Austin Hooper might have a decent bounce back year, but nothing special. Derrick Henry's getting to the point where he could regress as well. So I think the offense is terrible. I think the play calling, and it's mostly due to the scheme. I don't believe in the play caller. I don't believe in the OC. I don't think it's good there. So the defense can be good. I don't think the offense has what it takes to win the Super Bowl. And I think they're the biggest regression candidate in the NFL. Even though I like Mike Vrabel. He's never had a losing season. Who's next? Three to four would be asking a lot from Derrick Henry. What is awkward? The Giants. The Giants and the Panthers. Okay, Giants and then the Panthers. I did the Colts already. Giants, can they win the Super Bowl? No, unfortunately, they cannot. New coaching staff, complete new coaching staff, complete overhaul of the philosophy, schemes, all of that. Daniel Jones has a lot of questions to answer this year. And can they make the playoffs? I mean, maybe. Can they win the Super Bowl? Nah. Then you've got an offensive line that's completely kind of new, 4 new pieces. Right tackle is a rookie. That's a lot to ask. Then tight end is a complete question mark. Receivers, I'm not sure how good Kenny Golladay is. A lot of pressure on, what's his name? Damn it. Kadarius Toney, the best young receiver in the league. Kadarius Toney, my favorite. I think he'll be good, but it's really going to be his first year of good play, really, complete good play. Saquon, I think, is going to have probably a big year this year in a bounce back setting with this team, but I just don't the defense. Questions in the secondary, not enough talent there. Pass rush is still questionable. Too many areas where I just don't see it all lining up. Maybe 2-3 years from now they could be a pretty good team. But I don't see it. I don't see it this year. Maybe even next year they can make the playoffs. If they made the playoffs this year, I think that would be a great season for the Giants. And I think there is an argument to be had that they could make that happen this year. But to win the Super Bowl, nah. The Panthers are next. No. My answer for the Panthers is no. And it's because I don't think Matt Rule is a good coach. And that's mostly the reasoning there. But Baker Mayfield, I don't know. Could Baker win a Super Bowl? I think he could, but it would have to be on a really good team. And I don't think this is a really good team. I think this is a fine team with some talent. The defense has some talent. I think they could be a pretty good defense. They did lose Hassan Reddick, but they've got Derek Brown, they've got Brian Burns, they've got Shaq Thompson, J.C. Horn, maybe C.J. Henderson could be something this year. Of course, Jeremy Chin. So they've got a defense that can play, an offense that I think could be better, right? The offensive line is better on paper. They've got both the tackle situation, that's settled. Tommy Tremble at tight end, maybe he has a little bit of a good season. Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore's not a bad 1-2. Terrace Marshall and Rashard Higgins, they've got talent. CMC healthy, obviously. This team could make the playoffs if all things go right, but I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I just don't see that. I don't see enough in Matt Rule for me to say they can win the Super Bowl. Atlanta is next. Atlanta is an absolute yes. I'm just kidding. It's a no. The Atlanta Falcons are bad. Just straight up bad. They've got nothing really going for them other than Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Other than that, will they run the ball this year? I don't think so. Can they pass the ball this year? Marcus Mariota, the offensive line, the defense, they're one of the worst, if not the worst, roster in the NFL. They don't have a lot going for them. The secondary might be promising and interesting, but the pass rush paired with it is not very talented. Atlanta is really bad, really bad. I don't see it. The Chargers. I don't think we had the Chargers before. The Chargers. Can the Chargers win the Super Bowl? Yes. The Chargers can win the Super Bowl. Justin Herbert is an absolute beast. Justin Herbert is that dude, and he can do it. The offensive line still kind of worries me on the right side, but other than that, the left side's strong to the middle. Even right guard improved, but right tackle is kind of concerning. But other than that, you've got Austin Eckler, you've got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, which is a nice 1-2. Can Palmer take a step forward? Can Guyton and Everett provide something explosive to the offense? I do think the talent as a whole on the offense is a bit overrated because I think Keenan Allen is regressing and they don't have a lot of speed on the offense. But what Justin Herbert's able to do, he elevates everybody. And then defensively, I think they are going to be awesome on defense. The pass rush is going to be dangerous with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Kyle Van Noy was added to the mix as well as a great rotation linebacker and edge player. They've got a better run defense with Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day there in the inside, and I think Khalil Mack will help that as well. I think their linebackers are maybe a little bit overlooked. I feel like Tranquil could have a good year this year. Derwin James, obviously, in his second year removed from injury, is probably going to be a better player. J.C. Jackson's a beast. Bryce Callahan could be a difference-making nickel signing. They've got everything you really want in terms of a defense in this age, to be really good. So I think the Chargers are a team that could absolutely win the Super Bowl this season. Who's next? Who is next? Yeah, Big Al, you're right. That all four teams can win the Super Bowl this year in the AFC West. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Texans. Oh, God. Can the Texans win the Super Bowl this year? No. Can they surprise some people? I think that all kind of hinges on Davis Mills' development. Can Davis Mills take some steps forward? Sure. Maybe. The offensive line, I think, has a chance to be better than people think. The running backs are kind of a disaster. It's a retirement home, but they weren't that bad last year. The receiving core could be kind of underrated if John Mechie is healthy, and you got Mechie and you got Collins, who young players that could get better, and Brandon Cooks, obviously, and even a guy like Brevin Jordan at tight end. Like, those guys can take steps forward and be interesting and kind of deceptively good. Defensively, I think their pass rush could be a little bit better than people think. I think there's some underrated pieces there. They've got like a lot of just like average NFL talents though, and that's kind of the problem with them, is they don't have enough elite players anywhere on their team, which is really what they got to start working on. Like they've established a nice foundation of pieces and core players in depth, but they don't got enough to me. Who's next? Who is next? I think Aqua said the Cowboys. I don't think I've talked about the Cowboys yet, so let's go with the Cowboys next. Can the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year? That is a very interesting question. I don't think so. I mean, if the Cowboys teams, like some of the Cowboys teams that I've seen in my life couldn't win the Super Bowl or even win a playoff game, what makes me feel like this team can win the Super Bowl? Like, I don't really know. Like, I don't think so. Like, I think this is a team that took a step back in the offseason. They lost Randy Gregory. They lost Amari Cooper. They lost Cedric Wilson. They lost Collins at right tackle. They lost a lot of players that were fundamental to their success last year. Can they be a good team and make the playoffs and win the division? Yes. They've got Dak Prescott, who's the best quarterback in the division. They've got CeeDee Lamb probably taking another step forward. Dalton Schultz, a good tight end. A nice combo of Zeke and Pollard. Hopefully more Pollard than Zeke. The offensive line can still be pretty good, even without Collins. The defense, I'm still worried about the secondary, like the corner position. Like, I feel like is still kind of weak. But the pass rush in the front seven is always dangerous. You know, you got Parsons, you got Lawrence. I think that the depth there is pretty good. They added like Dante Fowler, and they've got the guy Basham from the former Jet. Like, they've got good depth pieces on the front seven. So yeah, I think the Cowboys can make the playoffs and maybe even win a playoff game. Can they win the Super Bowl? I don't think they got enough. I don't think they got enough as a coach in McCarthy. I don't think they got enough in terms of their roster either. Now, Sean Payton did say that he might return to football next year. So if Sean Payton ends up being the coach of this team next year, and then they maybe take a run at a couple free agents, right away I put them into the Super Bowl conversation. And that might be, that would be interesting. The final team is the Commanders. No. And I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. The Washington Commanders cannot win the Super Bowl because they have Carson Wentz. And that's pretty much it. I don't really know any other reason. But to be real, the defense, I think, overrated a little bit in terms of like what we expect them to be. The offense, I think, is actually kind of underrated in all areas, but I just don't. I think Wentz is too inconsistent, and I think their defense is like too vanilla for me. Like they don't do enough. Like, it's just kind of like go out there and play, and I don't know. It's just nothing special. Did I do the Ravens? No. Aqua, aren't you taking track of this? The Ravens. The Ravens, can they win the Super Bowl? This might be the most interesting team of all, like, on this entire thing. Yes, the Ravens can win the Super Bowl. The reason the Ravens can win the Super Bowl is because they've got a very good coach in John Harbaugh. They've got a very good quarterback in Lamar Jackson. They've got a kicker that can make all the kicks in any moment. And they've got a stronger offensive line this year. Morgan Moses, right tackle. Tyler Linderbaum at center. They can get back to dominance on the line of scrimmage. Their defense is really deep at safety in the secondary. They can cover. They've they don't have a great pass rush, but they can stop the run. So they have most areas, right? If Lamar can play like Lamar can play in the clutch, and they can get back to running the ball, and Bateman and Andrews can make enough plays there, they can certainly win the Super Bowl. I think they might not have enough depth in the receiving core, but if they can get back to their style of play, they can make a run. All right, we are all done with every team. That is awesome. That was some fun. That was good. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Maybe we could do more interactive videos like this in the future. And I definitely will want to keep going live in the future here, building up to the 2022 NFL season. If you guys missed your team and you're here live, you're maybe a little bit late, just get back to the beginning of the video. You'll check it out, right? It will be there. I did every team. So if you guys haven't already, make sure to Gronk spike the like button. Couple things to plug. Check out the TikTok. The TikTok, I've been working on heavy videos basically every single day. So even if you don't have TikTok, download it, follow the BLV, bro. That's all you got to do. Follow the BLV, and that's all you get. You get all your content from the BLV. The link is in the description. Also, in terms of Discord, if you guys want to be a bigger part of the community and you want to interact with NFL fans just like me, then make sure to check out the Discord. We're trying to build up that community for the 2022 NFL season. Big Al, get in the Discord. Let's get going. We're going to have some fun in there. When did you get the Bodo jersey? A little bit last season, I believe. Bodo sent it over. So, yeah, that was awesome of Bodo. One of the OGs of the channel, for sure. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Check out all the social medias. Follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. And don't forget to follow the TikTok and jump in that Discord. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. It's Mitch. I hope you learned something about your team and whether or not they can win the Super Bowl. Peace.